I'm Harrison Graham. It's time for a Bears Now mailbag. We got CDog15. Love the channel, Harrison. Appreciate it. Just enjoying this crazy ride this season. FTPF the Packers. Thoughts on Flores and Hafley leaving? Any predictions on Matt LaFleur and KOC's jobs? Well, KOC's for sure not going anywhere. I still would be shocked if LaFleur left. But if the Bears beat him, maybe if they beat him badly, I don't predict that. I did predict the Bears win, but not necessarily a blowout. There's some chatter it could happen because his contract's expiring, I think either after this year or next. I still think that would be crazy. But yeah, Hafley and Flores, very good chance one or both those guys are gone. Flores, his contract's up, so he can interview for any DC gig without the Vikings being able to block it. Hafley is going to get some head coach interviews, so knock on wood, get those guys out of the division, especially Flores. I mean, that guy is a nightmare to go up against. He's an unbelievable defensive coordinator. So I do tend to think he's going to leave, even if he doesn't get a head coaching job. I think he'll just fresh scenery, right? Like if you're stuck in one place as a coordinator, I think after a while, like we saw this with Eric Bieniemy in Kansas City, he was finally just like, I'm just going to go somewhere else. I think Flores could do the same, even if he doesn't get a head coaching gig. I think Minnesota will have to pay up because teams will offer a lot of money for his services, even as a coordinator. All right, super chat from Alex Todd. Appreciate it, guys. Let's say Love looks clunky after getting his bell rung and we play some aggression, high variance, turnover zone D. Who is the ball hawk? Well, I think Kevin Byard has been your most consistent ball hawk this year. What was that, his 7th pick the other day, 6th or 7th? Don't say it. Nahshon Wright was that for a while, but the last few weeks he hasn't really been in position to take the football away. Hopefully that returns. But I would think Kevin Byard is the guy. Tremaine Edmonds before the injury had 4 interceptions in 10 games. I mean, it's unfortunate he got hurt. He was having a career year with the Bears, and he just does not look like the same player right now. Doesn't feel like he's 100%, but regardless of Love's bell rung status, typically Jordan Love's going to give you a chance or two to make a play. Now, he's done a better job of lowering the turnovers this year, but I would guess there's at least one play in this game where he's going to give you a chance to pick the ball off, and you got to make it. You have to make that play when it's there to be made, so hopefully they can do so. All right, it is Packers Hate Week Part 3. Spam it all week long. Get the FGBs down in the comment section below. FGB, FGB. By the way, you want FGB gear? Chatsports.com/FGB. CJ the Great, chances Rome plays. I think he's playing. We're filming this on Monday, so we probably won't know more till Tuesday or Wednesday. So keep an eye on those injury reports. We'll, of course, have it covered. I'm guessing he plays on a pitch count. Like Luther Burden and DJ Moore are going to be your full-time starters. Maybe Rome and Jade Walker stagger the snaps. Jade has seemingly surpassed Olamide in snaps, which, hey, I'm all for, not only for this year, but like Jade, if he keeps proving himself, maybe he's your third receiver next year if you pivot off DJ. So I think Rome will play. I think it'll be on a pitch count, but I do think he'll be out there. Construction King, only way we can win games in the playoffs is a lot of takeaways or Caleb having an absolute shootout. Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to have to win the turnover battle most games. That's normally true anyways, but I think it's even more so with this team. And offensively, whether it's Caleb or running the football, you're going to have to put points on the board, and you're going to have to sustain drives. You've been getting killed in the time of possession battle recently. That's got to at least even out. If not, you win it moving forward. Because the defense they feel gassed even early in these games. So you're going to have to find a way to do better there. All right, today's show is brought to you by our wonderful friends at Prize Picks. Whether you're starting a new routine or making player picks for the first time, trying something new can be hard. But in life and on Prize Picks, it always feels good to be right. With high-pressure playoff matchups every weekend and elite hoops action almost every night, the action never stops. And Prize Picks lets you take control. New feature alert. Prize Picks now has early payouts. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. Another cool feature is Prize Picks offers injury reboots. If one of your players leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks won't count it as a loss within your lineup. It'll simply turn a 4-player lineup into a 3-player lineup or whatever the case may be. Little 2-player lineup here. I'm taking the more on both quarterbacks, passing yards. Caleb Williams, 208.5. Even in a game against the Lions where through 3 quarters didn't do much, still threw for 212. So I'm going to take the more there. And then Jordan Love, 223.5. I want to believe in this Bears secondary, but that feels like a low number. I'll take the more on that one. $20 to win 55 on this simple 2-player lineup. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. All right, Crispy Likes 6405. Assuming you can trade DJ Moore and Sweat to clear cap space, do you shoot at Jaelan Phillips and Trey Hendrickson, or only target one and let Booker keep cooking? It's a good question. If you're not going for the big trade, I would almost just rather pick one and then draft a guy in the first round. Like Trey Hendrickson for, let's call it a 2-year deal, 50 to 60 million, and go draft the best edge available. Like if you're not going to trade for a Max Crosby, like if you trade DJ and Sweat just for like cap flex and some extra picks, and you don't want to use that to trade for a Crosby or a Miles or whoever, I would sign the best edge you can. I'd probably pick Hendrickson out of those two, although Jaelan Phillips has looked good. And then I would draft a guy. That would probably be my approach. Okay, Leanob, I think it is very likely that DJ Moore won't be on this team next season, just by the way he's played the past 2 weeks. Look, I've said it all year, regardless of how he's played the last 2 weeks or even the 2 weeks before when he was awesome, he's not producing consistently enough for his contract. And again, that could be there could be a million reasons for that. It could be him. It could be Caleb. It could be Ben. It could be the coaching staff. It could be the scheme. Who knows? But the bottom line is he's the type of guy teams move off of when they have bigger needs. Because you have Rome Odunze. You have Luther Burden. Jahdae Walker looks like a guy who could be a wide receiver 3. So it's not even, and I'm going to continue to say this, and I don't think DJ's handled everything perfectly, but it's not even an anti-DJ thing. It's just look, man, we got bigger needs. We save $16 million if we trade you. You could probably have a bigger role elsewhere. This might just be best for everybody. That's kind of how it feels. Now, I'm worried about the here and now. I think here and now, DJ can still help you. I think there's a world where he's back on this team next year, but I would tend to agree that it's more likely than not that's a guy you pivot off of, and you use that money / draft pick help to go get defensive help because you need help all across your defense. That's what it feels like to me. Subscribe. We will have you covered throughout the Bears postseason, which hopefully is multiple weeks. We'll be here. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and do not miss out. All things Bears here on Chicago Bears Now. All right, Kiddis, what is going to happen with Nahshon Wright, and do you think he will be a Bear next season? I would say, depending on how he plays the rest of the way, I would lean that they let him walk. I think some team will pay him pretty big money, even though he's finished not great these past couple of weeks. He feels like a guy that someone overpays for. And it's kind of one of those where you hope someone pays him a lot and you can maybe play the draft pick formula game in free agency, get a future pick. Look, I know the last couple weeks haven't been great. He has still been a godsend for this team. When everybody was hurt at corner throughout the season, Jaelan most of the year, Tyreek missed some time, Kyler, this guy has been healthy and he's made a lot of plays. Yeah, he gives up a lot of plays. He gives up yards, gives up touchdowns. The turnovers have disappeared the last few weeks. But all in all, he's been a great story and a really good player for this team. But I think it's one of those where you recognize, okay, he's got flaws. That's probably a guy you just let walk. And, you know, Tyreek's still under contract. He can be a starter for you next year. He's not a perfect player, but he can be a starter. And then you have to determine, is Jaylon Johnson, do you think he can get back to himself? Or do you hedge there and you draft or sign someone else, at least a starting level player to be insurance? But I would guess Nahshon Wright probably gets priced out and you let him go. But that could change. DC Viper, with all the recent coaching fires, who are some of the Bear coaches who could get some looks at head coach? I would guess that some guys that could at least get interviews are Al Harris, for sure for DC, maybe a couple head coaching openings. Declan Doyle, although I don't think he'll get a head coaching job. Could get a play calling OC gig, though. And then maybe Antoine Randall. I think a lot of assistants, though, will get looks for either coordinator or position coaches. Like Eric Bieniemy, he'll get OC looks. He might just be back in Kansas City. Sounds like Matt Nagy's going to be gone, so they might just bring him back. So there's going to be interest in a lot of these Bears coaches. I doubt any of them get a head coaching job, but Declan, if he wants to get play calling experience, I could see that happening. If Al Harris wants to become a defensive coordinator, I could see that happening. My biggest one I don't want to happen is Jeff Hafley leaves Green Bay and they hire Al Harris to be his replacement. That would suck. But a lot of time between now and then. We'll have to wait and see. What is your confidence level in the Bears beating the Packers? Scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you're not confident at all, 10 being you are extraordinarily confident. I'm going to go 7-3. I'm mildly confident. If the Bears play a better first half, I think they'll beat the Packers. If they don't, it's going to be a dogfight and they're going to have to rally late, which they can, but you're playing with fire there. So 7.3 for me. Osmonic, Bears defensive end or defensive tackle, which one do we need to upgrade in the offseason more? I would still lean edge, but really either. Like, who's the best player you can get on the defensive line? Because it's not like your D-tacks are awesome. I mean, Grady Jarrett and Javon Dexter will both likely be on the roster next year, but if you can get Jeffrey Simmons, go get Jeffrey Simmons, right? If you can get some other defensive tackle that can have a huge impact, go get him. I think you lump those two position groupings together, and it's like, how do we upgrade? Who's the best player out there that we can get? I feel like there will be more edge options via free agency and the trade market, but if you tell me it's a defensive tackle, I'm all for that as well. Sager Halani, with how JMO looked, I'm worried about Watson this week. Def need to start jamming receivers at the line at least. Shocked nothing like that was even attempted. I will say there was one place where Jalen Johnson lined up in press on Jamison Williams and JMO just ran a drag on him and burned him. It's like, dude, at least like bump his shoulder off, reroute him, man. He's right there. What's the point of pressing if you're not going to get physical at the snap? It just feels like Jalen's not his confident self. He even admitted a couple weeks ago, he's like, yeah, I'm waiting to feel like myself again. And then he made that play against the Niners on the opening play. I'm like, okay, that's the Jaelen Johnson I'm used to. Identifying, reading the play, deflecting it, someone picks it off. And then against the Lions, he was really bad. He did not play well. So I'm with you. If you're going to press, you got to get physical because these corners aren't fast enough right now to consistently keep up in man coverage. You at least got to reroute them. All right, that is going to do it for our mailbag episode. Be sure to DM me if you have more Bears questions. Give me a follow on social media at HGramNFL, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok as well. I got a lot of DMs to catch up on after the Lions game, so I will try to do that in the coming days. Thanks for the support, and as always, bear down.